Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Finally, Zoro is about to undergo his ultimate training, and contrary to everything we expected, the manga hints that it will happen with a member of his own family. And today, you're going to find out who it is and how it will happen. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, the revelation about Roronoa Zoro's lineage was one of those one-piece moments that made us stop, blink a few times, and reread the panel just to make sure we understood what we had seen. For years, Zoro's origin was a massive question mark, a mystery that only added to his lone wolf aura, a self-taught swordsman with no obvious ties to the turbulent past or the noble families that shaped the world. He was the guy who showed up, simply decided he would become the greatest swordsman in the world and set out to prove it, carrying nothing but his blades and his ambition. But Oda, being the master weaver that he is, had a far more intricate and meaningful tapestry hidden up his sleeve for our dear Zoro. It wasn't just a simple, he's from the East Blue period. The truth about his parents and grandparents, revealed through extra materials like the SBS or the Road to Laugh tale, didn't just fill in gaps. It opened up an entire universe of new possibilities and connections that ripple across the whole Wano saga and beyond. Think about it. Roronoa Zoro, the man who always felt like a natural phenomenon on his own, a genius of the sword forged through pure willpower and discipline. Suddenly, we find out his talent isn't just an anomaly, but the peak of a lineage of swordsmen. His name, Roronoa, once a mystery some assumed to be a reference to the pirate Francois Lolonais, now becomes rooted in a specific family history, and his maternal surname, Shimotsuki, is a direct portal to the land of Wano, the home of samurai, master swordsmen, and the culture of the blade that he would eventually revere and defend without even knowing it. It is as if Zoro's fate had been drawn long before he ever picked up his first sword. He didn't just follow a path, he was, in a way, returning to his roots without ever being aware of it. And this revelation isn't just a character detail, it's a key piece that helps us understand his potential, his fighting style, and the path he still needs to walk to fulfill his dream of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. Let's start by focusing on the crucial figures that make up Zoro's family tree. First, we have Roronoa Penzoro, Zoro's paternal grandfather. Described as a local swordsman from Shimotsuki village, he is the husband of Shimotsuki Furiko and the father of Roronoa Arashi. The information about him is brief, yet powerful. A local swordsman means he wasn't a farmer, a fisherman, or a merchant. He was someone who lived and breathed the sword even in a quiet region like the East Blue. The fact that he lived in Shimotsuki village is the first major clue to the connection. As we know, that village was founded by a group of Wano migrants, and the very name Shimotsuki echoes the samurai tradition. Having a swordsman like Penzoro there, married to a woman from Wano who helped found the village, suggests he was deeply immersed in the culture of the blade. Make no mistake, being a local swordsman in the East Blue is no small thing. The region is known for being relatively weak when it comes to combat power. But Shimotsuki village is a notable exception. It is the home of the Isshin Dojo, of Master Kushiro, of Kuina, and of a community where the sword is central. Penzoro, as a swordsman of this village, likely mastered a style that, even if not on the level of the New World, was highly respected in his region. He would have taken part in defending and preserving the local sword culture. His role in saving the village from mountain bandits alongside the Wano migrants shows he was a capable fighter and a valuable defender of the community. He wasn't just a swordsman, he was a guardian, a protector, and that trait, the willingness to protect the weak and fight against injustice, is something clearly passed on to his grandson, Zoro. Now, we arrive at the crown jewel of Zoro's ancestry, Shimotsuki Furiko, his paternal grandmother. Furiko is the character who reveals the true golden core of Zoro's heritage. She was born in the land of Wano, homeland of the samurai, and is a member of the Shimotsuki family. And here's the jaw-dropping part. She is the older sister of Shimotsuki Ushimaru, the daimyo of Ringo, one of Wano's 6 regions. Yes, Zoro is the grandson of a daimyo. And not only that, she left Wano illegally 55 years before the current events, alongside none other than Shimotsuki Kozaburo, the master swordsmith who forged none other than the Sandai Kitetsu, and the legendary Enma, one of the 21 Owazamono, and the blade Zoro currently wields. Just think about the magnitude of that. Furiko isn't just an immigrant. She's a Wano noblewoman, a samurai-born woman who had the courage to challenge her country's isolationist laws in search of something more. Her journey with Kozaburo wasn't a simple escape. It was an act of rebellion and perhaps adventure, which ultimately led to the founding of Shimotsuki village. Furiko's influence on that village is undeniable. She brought Wano's culture, the samurai values, and the passion for the sword that ran through her family. Marrying Roronoa Penzoro, a local swordsman, was the perfect union between two sword traditions, one from the East Blue and one from Wano, that would culminate in Zoro's lineage. And the connection to Kozaburo is absurdly important. Kozaburo didn't just forge legendary blades, he also taught Kushiro, Zoro's master, at the Ishin Dojo. He was a swordsmith and a swordsman of high caliber. His decision to leave Wano and settle in the East Blue alongside Furiko is what directly linked Wano's samurai culture to Shimotsuki village. That means the training Zoro received from Kushiro, the three-sword style, the discipline, the philosophy of the blade, wasn't just a random martial art. It was a direct branch of Wano's sword tradition, brought by Kozaburo and kept alive by the Shimotsuki family in the East Blue. Furiko, as Kozaburo's companion, would have been intimately familiar with that tradition. She was the direct link, the bloodline carrying Wano into the East Blue. And then we have Roronoa Arashi, Zoro's father. The son of Penzoro and Furiko, he married Terra, the daughter of a bandit. This is a fascinating detail. Zoro's mother being the daughter of a bandit adds a layer of outlaw or rebelliousness to his profile, something that aligns remarkably well with the pirate lifestyle Zoro would eventually embrace. But Arashi, the son of a swordsman and a Wano samurai noblewoman, died in battle against pirates. It is a tragedy that Zoro does not remember, but one that may have indirectly influenced his path. The death of his father at the hands of pirates did not make him hate pirates, since he became one, but it may have shaped his perspective on strength and the need to become invincible in order to protect those he cares about, a defining trait in Zoro. Arashi never had the chance to become the greatest swordsman, but his legacy of bravery and combat undeniably passed on to his son. Zoro's inheritance is therefore a melting pot of traditions. He carries the name Roronoa, which we now know comes from a family of swordsmen from the East Blue, and the Shimotsuki bloodline, which connects him directly to the samurai nobility of Wano. This retroactively explains many of Zoro's traits that once seemed simply his. His three-sword style, for instance, which strongly resembles Wano's swordsmen who wield multiple katanas. His resilience, his ability to withstand absurd levels of pain, his honor, and his code of conduct so inherently samurai-like. All of this makes sense now that we know his lineage. It is not merely talent, it is the accumulated will of generations of warriors, the very essence of Wano flowing through his veins. He was born in the East Blue, but his destiny was intrinsically tied to Wano. The Straw Hat's journey to Wano was not just another stop, it was Zoro's return to his ancestral homeland, a reunion with his roots, even if he didn't realize it at first. The emotion of seeing the architecture, the landscapes, the samurai must have resonated with him on a subconscious level. And the most symbolic element of all, his possession of Enma, the blade forged by his great-great-grandfather Kozaburo and once wielded by Kozuki Oden, the legendary samurai. Enma was the sword that allowed Oden to wound Kaido, and it is the sword now pushing Zoro to new heights of power, drawing out his armament haki unconsciously. It is as if the sword itself knew who it belonged to by blood and spirit. The big question that arises from all these revelations is, what happened to Roronoa Penzoro? The information we have about him ends with Arashi's birth. There is no mention of his death, unlike Arashi, who died in battle. This opens the door wide for speculation. What if Penzoro is still alive? Think about his age. If Furiko left Wano 55 years before the current events and married shortly after, Penzoro would have to be elderly, but not impossibly so by One Piece standards. Garp, for example, is still kicking ass. Rayleigh, Roger's right hand, is still active. In One Piece, powerful old men are a very real phenomenon. If Penzoro lived a relatively peaceful life in Shimotsuki village, looking after his dojo and family, he could very well still be alive. And where could a meeting between Zoro and his grandfather take place? Shimotsuki village, of course, would be the most obvious location. Zoro has a deep attachment to his home, and at some point after the final journey, it would be natural for him to return to visit his master Kushiro and pay homage to Kuina. Or perhaps the encounter could happen unexpectedly. In One Piece, the world is vast and coincidences unfold in peculiar ways. Could Penzoro have decided in his old age to travel and see the world? Maybe inspired by stories of his grandson who became a famous pirate? Less likely, but not impossible. The most logical scenario would be a reunion in the East Blue during a future return of the Straw Hats to the homeland of Luffy and Zoro. The significance of a meeting between Zoro and Penzoro goes far beyond a simple family reunion. For Zoro, who grew up without ever knowing his parents or grandparents, and who always seemed focused solely on the present and the future of his dream, this would be a profound connection to his past. He would see where his talent came from, understand the origin of his fighting style, and perhaps find answers to questions he never realized he had. Imagine the emotional impact of Zoro, the stoic swordsman, discovering that his grandfather A respected swordsman is still alive and may hold insights about the path he chose. Beyond the emotional side, there is the matter of training. Zoro is one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. He trained with Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman, for 2 years. He mastered the 3-sword style, armament haki, observation haki, and recently awakened his conqueror's haki, using it to coat his blades and damage Kaido. What more could he possibly learn? What kind of final training would be necessary for a swordsman already near the peak? That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.